this video, we're going to keep talking about angles. We're going to talk about complements, supplements, and degrees, minutes, seconds. If the sum of two positive angles is 90 degrees, and remember, sum means that you're adding. So if you add together two angles and they equal 90 degrees, the angles are complementary. If you add together two positive angles and the sum is 180 degrees, we call those angles supplementary. So for example, let's say we have an angle measuring 40 degrees. To find its complement, well, we know that the complement and the angle should add up to 90. So to find the complement, we could take 90 degrees minus our 40 degrees and end up with 50 degrees being the complement of 40. To find its supplement, well, we know that the supplement should add up to 180. So to find the supplement, we could take 180 minus our 40 and get 140 degrees being the supplement for this angle. Let's do another example. This time we have to find the measure of each angle. So we have these two angles that form a straight angle, meaning that they are supplementary. They add to 180 degrees. So if we take these two angles, one of which is 4x degrees and the other is 6x degrees, together they should equal 180 degrees. Now we can combine like terms, so we get 10x equals 180 divided by 10, and we get x equals 18. However, we're looking for the angle measures, so if we take that value of x and we plug it back in, so 4x is 4 times our 18, so 72 degrees over here. And our other one, we had 6x would be 6 times our 18, so 108 degrees over here. And if you want to go back and check, if we added those two together, they do in fact equal 180 degrees. Okay, so we could take these measures of degrees and further break them down into smaller units that we call minutes and seconds. Similar to our time units, we have 1 degree equals 60 minutes. So we could write this as 60, and we mark minutes with kind of one single tick mark right there. So 60 minutes equals 1 degree. We could write it like that. And another way we could think of this is that 1 minute, if we took that and divided both sides by 60, 1 minute is 1/60th of a degree. Now we could take each of these minutes and break them down into 60 seconds. So now we can say 60, and we mark the seconds with kind of 2 double ticks right there. 60 seconds equals 1 minute. And there's another conversion we can use later on. And the other way we could think of that, if we were to take that and divide both sides by 60, we'd have 1 second is 1/60th of a minute. And if we come back up to our previous one and we divide that again now by 60, so we'd have 1 second is 1/3600th of a degree. So we're going to use these as we switch back and forth. So sometimes we're going to want our angles expressed in degrees, minutes, and seconds. And sometimes we just want them expressed as a decimal. So just one example, if we have our angle written out like this, 12 degrees, and we mark our degrees with our little circle the way we've always done, 12 degrees, 42 minutes, 38 seconds. Just to double reinforce that notation. Okay, so when we have them written in minutes and seconds, sometimes we might need to add and subtract them together, which is going to be a little bit different. So I like to write them vertically, 51 degrees, 29 minutes, and we're going to add that to 32 degrees, 46 minutes, adding up and down. If we add these 2 minutes together, well, that gives us 15, carry the 1, 75 minutes, and then add our degrees over here, we get 83. Now, what's wrong with this is that we have 75 degrees, or 75 minutes, sorry. So technically our minutes should only go up to 60 because 60 minutes is 1 whole degree again. So we're going to take, remember, our 60 minutes equals 1 degree. So we could take that 75 minutes and break it apart to be 60 minutes plus 15 minutes, which is 1 degree, 15 minutes. So we want to rewrite this instead. It's 83 degrees plus 1 more degree, 15 minutes. And then you could add the 2 degrees together, giving us 84 degrees, 15 minutes. And there's different ways you can kind of go about that, but you should end up with that same answer. Same with subtracting. So it's kind of like borrowing. If we need to subtract 90 degrees minus 73 degrees, 12 minutes. If I were to write this vertically like we just did, and we want to subtract the minutes from the minutes and the degrees from the degrees. Well, we don't have any minutes here for the 90. So I'm going to rewrite 90 degrees, and I'm going to kind of borrow 1 degree off of it. So 90 degrees is the same thing as 89 degrees and 60 minutes. So I'm going to rewrite that one, 89 degrees, 60 minutes. Now I could subtract 73 degrees, 12 minutes. And I do the subtraction and I get 48 minutes and 16 degrees. So now we're going to convert back and forth. So convert to decimal degrees to the nearest thousandth. So here we're given our angle in degrees, minutes, seconds. And I want to change these minutes and seconds into a decimal. So remember a couple of things. We had 1 minute was equal to 1/60th of a degree. So we're changing both of these minutes and seconds back into degrees. So if I have 8 minutes, I could rewrite this one as 8 times 1/60, or 8/60ths of a degree. And remember, we had 1 second when we converted that one to be 1/3600th of a degree. 60 times 60. So if I have 14 of those, I would have 14 over 3,600ths of a degree. And we don't really have to worry about a common denominator if I change both of these into decimals. So I'd have 74 degrees plus, this becomes 0.1333, and this one becomes 0.0039 degrees. Add those all together, and we have 74 point. Now we're going to round it, but 0.1333 plus 0.0039, we get 1372. And we're rounding to the nearest thousandths. So remember, we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths, but we're rounding, so we're rounding to this. What did I just do? Okay, sorry about that. We're rounding to this third place right here. So we look to the digit to the right, and it's a 2. So we have 74.137 degrees. So that was changing the degrees, minutes, seconds into decimal degrees. So you're going to use these two conversions that we said earlier, change that over. Now we're going to go the other direction. So if we start off with decimal degrees and we want to change it into degrees, minutes, seconds. So here we have 34.817 degrees. And I'm going to do this step by step. So I'm going to break this apart as 34 degrees. And that's going to stay as our degrees in our final answer. That will be our degrees. But this next part, this decimal part, is what I need to break apart into minutes and seconds. So I just broke it apart here. And now remember, we're going to use our 1 degree equals 60 minutes. So if I take this degree and I'm going to replace it with 60 minutes. So here I have 34 degrees plus 0.187 times our 60 minutes. And I can multiply those and I get 49.02. And now we're in minutes. And I'm going to break this apart the same way I did at the very beginning. So I have 34 degrees plus 49 minutes plus 0.02 minutes. And now I just need to change this last minutes, the 0.02, into seconds. And remember, we had 1 minute equaled 60 seconds. So this was a degree up there. Here are the two conversions we use when we're going in this direction. Instead of this 1 minute here, we're going to change it to 60 seconds. So multiply. So we'd have 0.02 times 60 seconds. And we multiply that, and we have 39 degrees, 49 minutes, and we end up with 1.2 seconds. And back here at the beginning, it said round it to the nearest second. So our nearest second is going to just be 1 second. So in degrees, minutes, seconds, we don't usually include our pluses. We can just write them: 34 degrees, 49 minutes, 0, 1 seconds. We do like to put it in 2 digits. So instead of just writing 1, we put 0, 1 seconds.